So there hasn't been any update on the live action adaptation of My Hero Academia in a while, and this is something that I'm very excited for as a fan because I think this live action movie has a lot of potential to be really good regardless of the stigma of live action anime adaptations being really bad. I just love to speculate and discuss this movie specifically since there is so much to talk about when it comes to it. But a question I would like to bring up and have a discussion about with y'all about this live action adaptation of My Hero Academia is that should this movie take the route of Marvel and DC? As we know, for Marvel and DC, when adapting these comic book storylines into live action movies, Marvel and DC tend to loosely adapt said comic books into live action. For example, Avengers Infinity War used the Infinity Gauntlet comic as sort of the foundation for what the movie will be. A lot of the things that happened in the comic don't happen at all in the movie, like how basically half of the living beings in the universe gets wiped out because Thanos was a big simp for Mistress Death. As well as the way Thanos obtained the Infinity Stones was completely different. Plus, there was a lot of cosmic stuff happening in the storyline that didn't make it into the film and is too much to go over for this video. So when comparing the Infinity War movie to the Infinity Gauntlet comic, they are two completely different stories that also share a lot of similarities. In both, we get the iconic Thanos snap, Farmer Thanos, plus a bunch of other moments that are slightly different from each other but are basically the same. In the end, the MCU has proven that though they loosely adapt comic storylines, they still are able to make amazing movies. But how? Because when it comes to anime live action adaptations, a lot of us have this fixed mindset that when an anime is getting the live action treatment, it needs to be one for one with what happens in the manga or it's automatically garbage. And for the most part, this is kind of true, since we have seen when an anime live action movie deviates too far from its source material that the only thing in common between the two are the names of the series and its characters. I'm looking at you, Dragon Ball Evolution, I still haven't forgotten. Still, there are also some movies that do stick pretty close to what happens in the manga, but since it's a movie with a time limit, there are a lot of story beats that get cut from the movie as well as certain characters. And still, to many anime fans, the movies end up not being good or just alright. But as Marvel and DC have proven time and time again, when it comes to them adapting their comic book storylines, despite their many differences between the source material and film, as long as the movies are well written and most importantly, the characters and world on screen reflect the characters and world in the comics, people are more open to give each new movie's interpretation of the characters and world a chance. For My Hero Academia, I don't think a live action movie will work if they try to follow the manga too closely, which I know this is very contradictory to what I've said in the past in my previous video discussing the movie, where I was pretty much on the side of not deviating too far from the manga, which I do still feel like that to a certain extent, but when I view My Hero Academia being more akin to that of Marvel and DC than any type of anime or manga out there, the more I feel this live action adaptation of the series should take the approach Marvel and DC has with their movies, in the way that My Hero Academia could adapt certain arcs into a movie, but how we get from point A to point B is completely different from the manga, but still retains what My Hero Academia is at its core. Now, I know some of you probably think I'm bugging out for saying this, but I think Horikoshi might understand this better than anyone. In a 2018 interview with Horikoshi, which the interview just so happens to have taken place a couple weeks before the My Hero Academia live action movie announcement, kinda sus if you ask me, but Horikoshi is asked the following question. The popularity of My Hero Academia in the US has become impossible to ignore. All of its adaptations from the manga to the anime and now the movie are amazing. In the same vein as Marvel and DC, do you think My Hero Academia could translate into live action? Horikoshi's response to this was, the film would have to make sure the existence of All Might is very absolute. loop. Also, Deku's relationship with All Might. Deku is always looking up to All Might, so as long as that relationship is solid, I think that should be at the core for a screenwriter for a live action movie. To me, the way I interpreted Horikoshi's answer was that as long as the live action movie retains what My Hero Academia is at its core, then it should be alright, because that's how superhero comic book movies are. Plus, I think he already knew a live action movie was already being talked about behind the scenes. Like I said earlier, this interview took place just a couple weeks before the actual live action movie was announced. But my biggest reason on why I feel this way is the fact that a lot of the My Hero Academia story as it is just wouldn't fit a live action movie. Not because the concept of My Hero Academia is too out there or anything like that. This is a superhero world we're talking about after all, and we literally have a huge complex superhero cinematic universe that is loved by many, but every big thing that's happened in the My Hero story all happens within the student's first year at UA. It would be really hard to replicate the story when in real life humans grow old with the passing of time. So there will need to be distinct story changes for the movie to accommodate the actors aging, meaning that we could see the movie ending with the students going into their second year at UA. And for a lot of people, this change could be a big problem. Now, I won't go too crazy on speculating what the movie could go over from the source material, though I do think the smartest thing for the first movie would be to cover the contents shown in the first season of My Hero Academia. Plus, I won't be speculating how the movie will end, since we really don't know much about it or how they will really go about doing this first movie. I just really wanted to throw this discussion slash talking point out there to sort of see how those in the community would feel about the live action My Hero Academia movie possibly taking the Marvel and DC route for their cinematic endeavors. Let me know in the comment section below what you all think about this discussion. Should they take the Marvel and DC route, or should they just stick to the source material as close as possible for the making of this movie? I'm really interested to know your thoughts on this topic. Like always, thank you all for watching today's video. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to Detroit smash that like button below, as well as share this video with your friends. It greatly helps the channel out a ton, and if you are new to the channel and you like My Hero Academia content, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, as well as hit that notification bell to join the Kitoroki Hero Academia to become my hero. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.